I want to know what the hell is going on.
3, 2, 1.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
All right. It's a good clap. I felt good about that one. We're
Hey.
recording at night, which longtime listeners of the pod will know that brings a certain energy to the pod that is not usually present. So
Screen share after
we
dark.
all respond a little differently after a long day of work.
Yes. And Hella's already having her little fits about it in case you can't hear.
I'm just going to start this off with a random question that just occurred to me today. You can probably tell a little bit about a person by what their favorite fruit is. What's your favorite fruit?
Ooh, I can't pick one. Fruits are delicious.
I mean, it's not the Olympics. You can fudge the rules.
Can I give you my top two
or so?
Okay,
Sure.
top two
sure.
are kiwis and banana. I think.
Oh, interesting.
I have never had a kiwi before.
Oh,
What?
No, dude, kiwi is fucking tart and delicious.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had kiwi flavored stuff. I don't never had like a slice of kiwi and bitten into it, that kind of thing. I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't been exposed to it.
Pineapple's up there too.
No kiwis have exposed themselves to me yet.
Oh no.
Dirty.
Mango and a good juicy pear.
Yeah, that's my number one.
See,
is a pear.
that sounds good to me. I cannot switch to pear, a big juicy pear.
One of those
Nice.
brown fuzzy pears that are really,
Oh,
really
or like
soft.
like a really fresh, nice peach. Mm.
When you bite into it and the juice runs down your chin, that level of juicy pear.
Yeah. I had this debate with an ex years ago. She often said that pears should be crisp, and I'm like, no,
Yes.
pears should be soft.
Soft and
What do you
juicy.
think?
Apples should be crisp.
Yeah, absolutely. If my apple is soggy or like mealy, bleh, no,
Yeah.
thank you. But the pear, it should sit on, like, even a banana. I like my banana a little riper. I don't.
My bananas have to be perfectly yellow. There can be no brown nor green.
Riveting conversation.
Yeah.
I told you we're bringing a different energy,
What
and
is
we
it,
just started
Kel?
going on to a granola kick.
What are yours?
So, anyways, hi, welcome to Screen Share and Chill. We ostensibly talk about movies. My
true.
name is Kelly.
He just
My name is
avoided the
Keith.
question. My
He
name
did,
is
he didn't wanna
Jamie,
say.
and
He likes-
inquiring minds want to know.
He likes.
I wasn't sure. Were you talking to me?
Yeah.
he likes completely
say?
brown bananas. Is what he likes.
No, I like them like brown spots
Just
on the outer,
just
the
oily
outer layer.
and dripping juice.
Why do you do
from
No,
the cracked peel.
no. Like if it's like mushy, then I don't like the banana either. It's like that at the very end, while it's still firm, but it's not mushy, but the softest firmness that it gets. It's perfect sweetness. The flavor is great. The flavor's just not good on a green banana.
Right.
It tastes like kind of bitter
Mhm.
instead of sweet.
Riveting.
Yeah, so we're talking about the final pick in our romance
2020s
selections.
romance. Yeah.
Yeah, 2020s and beyond romance. And this was Jamie's pick, and Jamie's going last. That way she can respond to our picks if we pick something incredibly annoying or such. So what did you pick, Jamie, and why?
I picked The Bride.
Can anybody help me? Please. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of this. Please. Help. Help. What happened?
You had an accident.
An accident, huh?
We dug you up. Then we brought you back to life.
Get on stage, and I call her by her first name.
What do you want with a dead girl?
I'm the same. Born from the dead. I am a monster.
Yeah, so am I.
This world is a black hole.
The corrupt are going to see life is here and it's coming to you from the monsters.
Yes. Yes!
Everybody dance! Everybody sing! Everybody move!
Please don't hurt me, please. I'm sorry. What are you sorry for?
Did you do something wrong?
Something you thought you might get away with? No, just the bride.
Scared.
Written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. One, because I've been wanting to see it, and it just fit so perfectly into this genre and time period that it was perfect timing. And two, because I think it covers a little bit of horror, which we all know Keith and I love, and it does cover the romance. And I think it looked like an interesting spin on The Bride of Frankenstein. So
it's also an interesting take, seeing as how we just watched that pretty good Del Toro Frankenstein,
Right.
you know, to see a different
Yeah.
reading of it.
Yeah. It's one of the classics that I haven't read the book, but I am interested at seeing these different interpretations as much as I enjoy seeing different interpretations of the Batman or Batman or Batman or
Batman and
the
Robin
Joker, or the Joker
Or the Dark
Superman
Knight,
or
or-
Superman. Yeah. It's all fun, man. It's like I also enjoy watching people cosplay, especially if they do it well. You know who cosplays as Wolverine really well? Hugh Jackman.
Mhm.
Anyway, so The Bride, it was written by Maggie Gyllenhaal, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I might not be, I'm sure not the only person in the world that wants to call their name Gyllenhaal. I can't help it.
right.
I've been a fan of other stuff that she's done. Her brother has done some interesting stuff too. He's done a few Broadway pieces that I was really a fan of. He's actually quite the talented singer and stage performer. Like I've seen him pull off some difficult stuff vocally that I'm like, ooh, I did that at a festival once, and that's a hard fucking song. So I tip my hat to him.
And there's
What
a
are
lot
your
of big
opinions
names
of the?
in this. In the
Yeah, what are
cast.
your opinions of the Gyllenhaals? Do you guys have a positive opinion or a negative?
I'm pro Gyllenhaal.
I've heard some stuff that he's somewhat of a not like a creep or anything, but that he's you know, a what's the word? A philanderer.
Yeah.
A
Well,
womanizer?
Yeah, a little bit.
he
but,
is a man
I mean-
in Hollywood.
Yeah, right. And so, you know, like it's I don't know how much of that is out of turn or just like absolutely true, but it's not the greatest thing that I ever read about him, but I like his work, and like, you know, I like I'm pro Gyllenhaal with an asterisk of Jake. I've heard some not so flattering things about Jake.
Right.
There you go.
He's
Yeah, that's it.
in one of my favorite movies ever. So,
Which is
Secretary.
oh yeah, that movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh,
It's
Cal.
like super sexy.
You would like it, Cal. You would like it.
But I'm glad that you brought up the stuff about Jake, because I thought I had heard rumblings about that, and I don't want to like completely gloss over
Right.
if he's problematic in some way. I'm glad that somebody mentioned it, because I didn't know enough about it to say anything. I know that as far as like just pure talent, I have been impressed with a few things that he's done, but as we've discussed before, you could be talented if you're a dickhead and you misuse people and stuff. Then I don't really. That doesn't save you. So
Right.
Yeah.
So how well did it do? I heard that did it flop so far, right?
So far, it
It's
is
pretty
coming in
recent movie, just
under,
came out,
yeah,
right?
it is so far coming in under expectation. It is an $80 million budget. I can't seem to find anything that shows me what the current numbers are on it, because it just came out of the theater like last week. So
Says it was a major box office bomb. It grossed 23.8 million worldwide against an estimated 80 to 90 million dollar production budget.
Yep.
So,
ouch!
Yeah.
No bueno,
yeah, so
amigos.
it
That's
lost
no
money.
that's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a unique movie. We'll say that. I've heard comparisons to Folie à Deux, the Joker,
Yeah.
Joker 2, the musical.
I have never seen that yet.
I have not
I have
seen
not
that
seen
either.
that either. But seeing the absurd levels that some of this movie goes to, I can understand why that, you know, as ignorant as I am of the other movie, yeah, it sounds like there might be something in common with that. And that movie also bombed.
It
so
also reminded me of the in spots of the new Dracula movie that came out this year too, that also had some ridiculous dance breaks in it.
how hard is it? Like, if you're gonna write a story either write a story, like come up with something on your fucking own, or if you're gonna write a Dracula story, steal from the fucking book. Write the book. Like, put the book, do an interpretation.
I will say,
whatever.
at least the dance breakdowns in this made sense to it. Like, they were in a spot where there would be dancing of that nature. In the new Dracula movie, it's more like we have a flash mob in the middle of a castle for no apparent reason.
Well, I mean, there is a scene in this movie where a dance mob breaks out in the middle of a diner, or I'm in the middle of a ball, and it's not rehearsed, but you would think it was.
But at least they're in a ball. I mean, like, people dance in a ball.
But they weren't dancing at this ball, and it wasn't like it was like a flash mob. It's funny that you bring that up because that's kind of what happens in this, right?
Kind of what,
I mean, did I misread that scene?
That's why I said it reminded me, but it still makes far more sense to have it happen at a ball than it does to have it happen in the court of Versailles when everybody's just eating.
It's all we're gauging different levels of absurdity. Like, is it more absurd to slap somebody with a fish or hit him with a custard pie? They're both equally kind of strange to do. So it's right. I'm with you. That as if you've seen both and you feel that is more absurd, more power to you. Yeah. So I think it's time that we start talking about it.
All right, and if we're gonna start talking about it, let's start by talking about the good.
My first good is that it is written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, but it also specifically said, and Mary Shelley.
Credit where credit is due.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You either put it on top of the name, on top of the title, or in the writing credits. You can't base this off of her work. My first good note is that they say the line in the movie, but the original title of this was "Here Comes the Motherfucking Bride." And of course, for release, had to be shortened to just "The Bride!" ! But on some of the posters, if you look, it still says "Here Comes the Motherfucking Bride" as the title listed. And I love that energy. You'll find that one of my complaints will probably be that if they were going to choose that energy, I wish they would have stayed in it. So one of my favorite movies is Moulin Rouge. And that movie is fucking wildly absurd. People are like dancing in the stars and flying around with pink or green fairies and stuff like that. So like, it doesn't need to be rooted in realism and gritty for me to appreciate it. But this movie, like, if they kept that energy, "Here Comes the Motherfucking Bride," I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But yeah, that's a good title.
It is.
That's a good title.
But the censors.
Oh, even The Bride is a good title. It's just the exclamation point at the end that it makes me think of the joke from Friends where they go to see Joey in the play and it's called Freud, and Phoebe remarks that
the exclamation point in the title scares me. It's not just Freud, it's Freud.
Like, okay, calm down. Like, you have to say it like that every time you reference the movie. What movie did you watch? Oh, I went to the theater and watched The Bride.
But that's intentional. I feel like that's how it's supposed to be. It's The Bride.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that as a negative. We are still in the good, so I mean, at least it's in theme. But yeah, that I like I said, I appreciate that energy. I wish they would have run with it a little bit more and leaned into that more.
So I'm with you, Kel. I have never read Frankenstein, which includes like the bride stuff. It was all in one like tale, whatever. I think it's different than how it's ever been portrayed. But I wonder if this line was from it, because I wrote it down because it's such a beautiful line, and I relate to it so much. Where we're gonna call him Frankenstein because he refers to himself as Frankenstein. He says it was my father's name and now it's my name. So to quash the whole
Frank through like the whole movie.
Yeah, to quash the whole Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. No, this monster refers to himself as Frankenstein, so we are going to call him Frankenstein. He says there is a whole garden of pleasures which I have not had. And that is that's a powerful line, and it feels like something that would be from the novel.
Mary Shelley,
and it's in a response to her basically saying, "Are you just trying to get laid?"
Right.
And that response is elegant, and it is accurate, and it is profound in the sense that, like, well, yes, and a lot of other things too.
Right.
I want a companion. And he basically says, don't misunderstand me. I'm not looking for a piece of ass. I want somebody to spend time with. I want to fall in love. I want somebody to care about me. I want somebody to ask me about my day. So I like Frank. Like Frank as a person, I hope that if I ran into him, that he and I would be friends. Like he didn't seem like an evil person
Not
at
at
heart.
Nope.
Another line that I really loved was the beginning of the movie, and it was she's talking about the different kinds of movies, and she's talking about horror and drama and crime, and then she's like, or most frightening of all,
A romance.
a love story.
Oh, yeah. I
Loved that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about the shit that the big events in your life, my life, most people's lives that you know, like,
Hell yeah.
you think about the big trauma, like, I mean, unless it involves like maybe a death of a family member, but other than that, like if you got robbed or you got into a car accident, that's nothing compared to when you went through a heartache or you got a divorce or something like that.
That's why I loved the line, because it was, and personally, like to get a little personal here, I have spent a good number of years, as Keith and I were talking before you came on, running from any sort of thing that resembled a love story.
Yep. That was like my last 10 years. So.
Yeah. Yeah, like I just nope. That looks like it could be love, and I don't want that. Bye.
This could hurt me. Bye.
Yeah.
So that really spoke to me.
That's and I have been fortunate that I don't often find myself like I grieve after a relationship, and after a set amount of time, I come out of my hole and I'm ready to be loved and to love again, that kind of thing. And I
Me
just
too. It
feel
just took
fortunate.
6 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever taken that long. I think maybe I had one breakup years and years and years ago that there was about 4 years that I was celibate for 2 years voluntarily because I wanted to not. I didn't want romance or sex to involve anything, and then 2 years of just I didn't want love.
I will.
Eventually, I fell in love again. You know, it happens.
I will say, in my defense, after a 10-year portion where marriage was on the table, it hits a little different, and that took a long time to recover from.
I mean, there's no one way to grieve, and I've heard some people say that like it takes, if you take how long you were together, have that. That's about how long it takes for you to really adjust to a new life without you're not thinking about them on a daily or semi-daily basis, that kind of thing. So, I mean, by that logic, it could have been 5 years, 6 years before you're ready to even look at another partner.
I've also heard that it takes twice as long as the time you were together.
Oh, God, I hope not, because I pretty much damn somebody to die alone. See, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
you know, thankfully, these...
I think it just takes the right person coming along at the right time.
Yeah.
A combo of the two.
Well, and it starts, and I don't know, it's to me, it starts with, like, healing yourself.
Yes.
And then when you heal yourself, then you have to like heal yourself, but not go looking for something in particular. Like you don't have to have because that's where you get in trouble, at least in my experience, is that if you have a mental image of what you want, you're just looking for a person to place into that picture.
Right.
That never works out the way you want. No, just be yourself. And then if you find somebody else that your time with them is enjoyable and you want more of it, and then the more you have, then you know that path. Right. We've all been down that path. So.
See the kind of conversations we have when we watch romance.
Romance.
So perfect.
This is after a day full of coffee, not just waking up and having 1 cup of coffee.
All right, so I'm just gonna say it. The allusions to Young Frankenstein, I clocked immediately because Frank in this is he likes Jake Gyllenhaal cameos as a prominent Hollywood actor, and he knows all of his movies and his musicals and stuff, and watches him. And
his name like Percy or something?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Roland?
That doesn't matter. But he envisions himself in the scenes when he's watching
Ronnie.
it. So Frankenstein is looking at himself up there dancing in it, and I'm like, before we even got there, I was like, oh, this is really speaking Young Frankenstein putting on the Ritz to me. You know, the putting on the news, and I was hoping that he was going to do it, but there was no mention of that, even that song then. But then about halfway through the movie, they literally do it, and it's Putting on the Ritz is playing while he's dancing, and I'm like, oh,
And it
they
was
did it.
purposeful.
They
It
did
was
it.
an homage to Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Absolutely, yeah. So I love that for this movie.
Yeah, that also made my list. Just not here. Maybe not that.
I loved Jessie Buckley. She was
Yes,
phenomenal.
she is my number 2.
In
She's
this
my
movie.
number 2 good.
Yep.
Yeah, she was. I'd never really seen her before,
Me either.
and it's always like I get a little smirk whenever I look up one of these amazing actors. I think I did it with Rebecca Ferguson after Doctor Sleep, and I look up these actors because I'm just so impressed with their magnetism and their charisma on the screen, and I find out that they're Irish. Oh, go figure. Okay, cool.
Where were they? Was it New York? Was it Boston? What was that accent? I loved whatever her
Chicago.
accent was. Her like
Chicago.
yeah, her shit. So yeah,
You got to really open up the vowels.
God, I love the way she speaks.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah, it's so good.
She was so like Jessie Buckley, the primary female.
I would
lead.
prefer not to. That's the
I would prefer
line.
not to.
I would prefer not to. That comes back over and over again. But Jessie Buckley plays 3 different characters kind of in this movie. She plays Mary Shelley. She plays Ida, a woman that is killed early on in the movie. Sorry, minor spoiler, but it happens within the first 15 minutes, so it doesn't count. And she also plays the bride, which is the titular character. If you've seen the poster, you know who I'm talking about. And all 3 of these characters are completely, obviously, it seems almost like cliche to say they feel very different because she's a fucking professional actor. Of course, they should feel different, but they are all 3 of these characters are compelling and interesting. And I probably would have watched a movie about any of these 3 women by itself done well.
Absolutely.
I am so curious about Jessie Buckley. I would give her a fucking award for this if it were possible. She's probably going to get my MVP at the end. She was just incredible. Start to finish. She was the star of this movie.
I have a lot of good, but they're good that is going to need some explaining. So you guys go ahead and
let's get the Kelly go.
Speaking of Jessie Buckley, I will say that the Mary Shelley in general as a character, I thought, like, I don't know Mary Shelley very well. I know a little bit about her from like reading Wikipedia pages and hearing people or reading different people's essays about her writing and stuff like that. But I haven't done it like any kind of a dive into who Mary Shelley was or what kind of person she was. If this is true to form, goddamn, Mary Shelley sounds like a cool motherfucker. Like, I mean, she's already one of those people that if you list the top 5 people that you could go back in history and have a conversation with, she's already in the list.
Don't speak too much on that because I believe we're going to talk about this.
Oh, yes, we definitely
later,
are. But I just want to say that Mary Shelley in general, if this is accurate, then, oh my God, like, I'm not even talking about Jessie Buckley's portrayal of Mary Shelley. I'm just talking about Mary Shelley, the fucking person. And the fact that this story that she did on a fucking dare 100 and however many years ago is still so compelling that we're still debating which interpretation of it is really more true to form to what she would have intended. And, so good. Mary Shelley. Yay. Penelope Cruz is another one of my pluses. I fell in love with Penelope Cruz during Vanilla Sky and the Spanish version. I don't remember the words in Spanish, but fucking love Penelope Cruz. And every time I've seen her in anything since then, I get like giddy. Like I see it. Like I wouldn't even list her as one of my crushes, but every time I see her on screen, I act like she is. So maybe she is. I just think she's adorable and witty, and she comes across so intelligent, and I love her bravado in this film too. She plays a detective assistant, but really the primary detective. Yep. She's the smart one. And I fucking love her. She's so good. Her and Jessie Buckley alone would have been pretty much worth the price of the admission for this movie.
Agreed. In general, like the acting all around, I thought was really good.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Christian Bale did a great job with Frank too. I mean, he had a hard job playing Frank as, Frankenstein's monster as we already know him, but to make him lovable and to make him sensitive, but also to make some really questionable choices where not even though I'm talking about Frank like he's a good guy, he does a few things in this movie that are not good, buddy. Not good. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But Christian Bale does it really well. It's just unfortunate that Christian Bale, one of the better actors of our time, is playing next to Jessie Buckley.
Yeah.
Jessie Buckley just completely fucking stole it. She ate. There were no curtains left to eat because Jessie already ate.
Yep. I agree.
Fully.
All right, Jamie, your turn.
Okay, so I did love the way that the theme of the real monsters are others and how it carried into this movie. Like, that's always been the Frankenstein theme, right? Like, the monster isn't the monster, it's the people who interact with the monster, and they did a great job of carrying that forward here.
Mm-hmm.
The bride isn't the monster, it's the people that interact with her, the people that attack her.
Yeah, Frank is a mirror to what you are.
Right. And then this is where my notes get, these are all goods, okay? Please stay with me with the fact that these are all goods, because
Okay.
the violence with which Frank ripped open the body bag when they bring Ida back.
Oh,
it was so.
They bring back the dead body and he just kind of tears it open like he's opening a bag of chips after a night of drinking.
But
give me these fucking chips.
But you know what it looked like to me? What it said to me? It was him ripping off her clothing as they were preparing to violate her by bringing her back to life without her consent. It was a mirror for
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I'm saying you have to stick with me with the fact that these are goods, because the way it's portrayed is good. And but it's a bad thing, but they did it so well, and they hinted at how her consent meant nothing with that move alone. And I loved how they did that.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry, I'm writing something. You gave me a thought. Your thought was good enough that now I'm putting extra notes on top of my notes. So yeah, good point.
Right. I did love the sets. I thought the sets were really well done again.
Oh God, you said sets. I thought you said sex at first. I was like, there weren't really all that many graphic sex scenes. I don't know what you're...
Why do you do this?
SETS. Sets.
Okay. Sets.
And how disheveled the bride was. She just amazing. Like, she looked dead, but she wasn't, but she was. Loved it. Loved the black stain. Like, I don't know. It was a very cool aesthetic to me for that.
Yeah, all the effects were well done. I mean, it feels... maybe it's a short sight on my part to not put that in the good, because I almost kind of like... maybe I expect it nowadays. Right. The technology is there where if you don't have at least decent... like, can you even put it through a fucking AI filter, Mr. Disney, that you are on board with AI and you don't have the same ethical quandaries that I do as a private citizen for some reason? So, yeah, I guess the effects were really good. And the way she looked, the way that Frank looked too, whenever they did get into some of the gory violence, they tore into things.
The way she fell down the stairs at the beginning, it was so gruesome, but you couldn't turn away. Like, it was such a fascinating, they zoomed right in and showed each and every little break and perfection.
Oh, and our buddy from past lives was in this as a minor
Alfred.
role.
Oh, yes. If I had only known that you were going to pick this and he was going to be in it, I would have found another romance movie.
What's his name? John Magara or something?
Magaro.
Yeah, so we could have done the John Magaro trilogy of romance movies in the 2020s. Yeah.
Do you have a couple?
Help me out with this one, because I just wrote, I think I know what it is, but I just wrote Frankenstein's Cuck share. And I think that is when he's sitting in the dance hall, like just watching her dance or whatever, with other guys, and like, but it was like it was sweet because he's just enjoying like watching her having a good time, and it literally was almost like representative of the Cuck share, and then things get a little a little
which
out
is
of sorts
like,
after that.
That'd be a great episode name, but I'm already throwing up the fist. That cannot be the episode name.
Okay, well, it is such a now that you mention it.
But it can't be. I can't deal with that.
Have we ever discussed the Streisand effect before? Oh, damn it, Jamie.
Also,
thank
you
so
typically aren't there. You aren't there when it's time to name these things.
I'm just saying.
I mean, who knows what'll happen.
Once we get done with this overall discussion, that will not be an appropriate name.
Well, let's just say that Editing Kelly is happy that he has been given at least one good choice. One really good choice has landed in his lap, so.
Okay, here's another one that
Okay.
I need help with. It just says, shrimp.
Oh, because they grab a bunch of
What
shrimp
was
out of the shrimp trays and they just shove it in their pockets. Their
Yeah.
musty, dirty
Oh,
pockets
yeah, okay.
to like eat later,
Mhm,
I guess,
yeah.
when it's all warm and covered with fucking
I
cloth
I
and
just
dirt.
think Keith was hungry.
Yeah,
I mean, at the time,
I was-
yeah, the shrimp looked good, but I wouldn't have been shoving it in my pockets. I would have been shoving it in my fucking mouth.
Right?
Mhm. Well, then you got to have that's shrimp.
Just
for later,
imagine
you
whole
understand.
handfuls of cooked cocktail shrimp.
Cocktail
Just
shrimp,
grabbing
yeah,
a handful of shrimp and just shove it in your mouth. Oh, the decadence. If I was ever rich, you'd know. There would be a picture. Someday, if you ever look to my Facebook and the picture is me shoving a handful of shrimp in my mouth, then you know I've made it. I do have listed here the Michael Jackson's Moonwalker Genesis dance scene in the goods. Because
Nice.
it threw me off so much. And like I said, like, I love when movies decide to go all out and balls to the wind and just fucking ride it.
Again, dirty.
And this is great when it decides to do that. When Jessie Buckley is eating the scenery, when they're tearing the gore out of, when they're making the woman bones bend in weird places as she falls down the stairs, when they embrace the zaniness and the absurdity of this universe that they've created, it is wonderful. And anybody that's played Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the Genesis knows exactly what I'm talking about, because basically Frank is caught. He is pretending to be somebody. He's running from the law at this point for a murder, and he snuck into a ballroom and he flipped his jacket inside out so he looks like his servant, kind of, in a very, very vague sense. Anybody that looks at him for more than a second will see that he's a monster that's wearing clothes inside out. But he dazzles everybody by doing the fucking Michael Jackson Moonwalker scene, and is just and everybody starts dancing with him, but it's putting on the Ritz instead. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here? And I don't know. Overall, yeah, that's a good. It either was going to land or it wasn't. And for me, in the end, it landed overall.
It was a good for me for a different reason. And we discussed it at that moment too. This movie does such a great job of showing how people reacted to different people. So like, he blended in because he was serving them, and it was this massively rich ball, right? And the rich people don't look at servants. That's like that they don't. You're well dressing.
Exactly. Oh, I love that observation when you made it during the scene. Yeah, that's
and it was
that's
so
why you
brilliant
could
for
get
them
away
to
with
do
it, because
it.
they don't
Yeah.
even look them in the eyes. They
Right.
never even look at them.
They just grab
They
the
just-
food as
you're
they
here to
walk
serve
by.
them.
They're just table dressing.
But then Frank goes up to his favorite actor, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and he says, "Oh my God, I'm your number one fan," and he starts basically like having an orgasm in his pants right in front of the guy.
Yeah.
And it just goes fucking wild. And Jake Gyllenhaal is like, "Dude, you are flipping the fuck out. Look at this weird motherfucker," and everybody starts laughing at him. And that's when the Michael Jackson Moonwalker hits, right when like everybody's attention now is pointed at Frank, literally pointing and laughing at him, and he's wanted for murder. There's nothing. You are at an end of the world. Your life is now at an end, one way or another, like, unless you start killing people as you immediately flee the room. But he just does a dance off. And everybody, and in this weird, wacky world, it all kind of, all right. It's so random.
So I have another one of my explanational ones.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I think, like I said, this movie does a really good job of portraying, of showing and not telling things. And Jessie Buckley's character, Ida, in particular, she is faced with sexual violence so repeatedly in this movie. And you see all the different ways she could react, whether it's fawning or fainting or freezing or fighting.
Just to clarify, we're still in the good, right?
Yes. I told
Okay.
it again. it portrayed, it showed that there's this point when you are faced with sexual violence, that there's this point where you decide how you're going to react, and it's totally not something that you have control over. 90% of the time. Your body just reacts. And so her body sometimes reacted by fawning, and sometimes it reacted. But then there was that point where it was like she was done, and she was like, I don't fucking care anymore. And the violence took over, and she became violent right back. And it doesn't matter what will happen to you. That fight happens, and your brain kind of takes over on its own. And I think they did such a great job of showing that.
Oh yeah, and
I
it's
would have to
the Mary Shelley
It's like the
coming out,
and it's the theme of the movie, essentially, right? You know, I mean, that is what this movie is speaking on.
and we're under the impression that Ida probably, I mean, maybe you have a different interpretation, but Ida probably would not be responding the way the bride would.
Right.
And the reason why the bride responds the way she is because she's part, she's part Ida, part Mary Shelley.
Part
and
dead.
oh yeah, we forgot to mention, for those that have not seen the movie, obviously full of spoilers if you're listening to a podcast about it, but Mary Shelley, it's kind of implied that Mary Shelley, after she dies, she possesses Ida's body, and that's what leads to Ida dying, is that she is possessed with the spirit of Mary Shelley, and then they both die together.
And that's in my good notes, because it's like, it's kind of this meta thing of like, you know, going into your own story, and like, so you have to, right off the jump, you're like, well, this can't be a real thing, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting to me the way this movie is put together. And maybe I'll just get, that's like my main good note, what I liked about it, what I think maybe some other people might brush against, but I don't know. It feels very punk rock. I describe this as feeling like like the movie equivalent of a cut and paste flyer or a ransom note, you know, where it's like, it's all these different pieces put together that aren't the same whole, but they make a new thing when displayed together. And like kind of Dada-esque, and I'd like that sort of punk rock spirit of who gives a shit, this is what we're gonna say and this is how we're gonna do it, and it doesn't matter if it makes sense because here's the story, here's the message. And I don't know, that spoke to me. I appreciate it. Felt somewhat novel and fresh way to show me a movie and tell me a story. I also think that
it points to the fact that the story is being told to you via Mary Shelley / Ida / the bride, and all three of them are existing in this same space, and they're all completely different characters. As Kelly said, obviously she's acting, that's what she's supposed to do. They're going to have different viewpoints, they're going to have different ways of seeing what's happening to them, they're going to have different reactions, so the fact that it was like that kind of speaks to the fact that you're getting one story from three different versions of the same person.
Speaking of the constant shifts between personalities, I feel like I'm becoming a dead horse making the same reference again, but reminded me of Split. Maybe not quite as complex as James McAvoy was with the 12 or however many characters that he embodied over the course of those two movies. But it was equally as impressive, if not more impressive in different ways. Like this character obviously was more bombastic and shit, but reminded me a lot of Split.
My final good note is that I was not expecting it to take essentially a Bonnie and Clyde turn. Which
natural born killers.
Yeah, and like that's an interesting take on the whole Bride of Frankenstein thing, because like they embrace their outcast nature and their
outlaw,
you know, we are monsters. Yeah, we're on the run, and that was kind of a fun little thing for me because I just didn't see it coming.
Totally agree.
You know, so
that was one of the tones that I liked about the movie. That was one of the mini movies that we saw that I liked. That they kind of switched between a lot of different stories in this story. During their romp across America, or I don't know how far they got or whatever, but when they were driving across country, at one point they're being chased by cops, and it's at night, and they're driving with cornfields on both sides, and she sees a turn coming up. I think she's driving at this point.
She was.
And she turns the lights off, and when the road turns left, she turns right into the cornfield, and the cops are far enough behind her on this winding road that when they turn the corner, they apparently they don't see her. Either way, I thought that was like, I would think a cop would probably see the hole that you left in the corn, maybe. But I don't know. At night when it's dusty and shit, who the fuck knows? But
and you're speeding, to try
and
and
you
catch
know that
up.
there's
Like,
a
oh,
woman
shit.
driving and probably thought that the woman would never do something so gutsy like that.
yeah, well, and for a lot of reasons, I think that would fucking maybe work. I thought that was kind of a creative answer because at the time, several times in this movie, you're thinking, how the fuck are they going to get out of this? How the fuck are they going to get out of this? And that was one of those, that one, it was much more believable than hitting A, B, and C together on your Genesis controller to make Michael Jackson make everybody dance.
The line that the bride said at the end where she could have kept going and gotten like revenge on people that had wronged her, and she was like, it's a dead end, the dead end of revenge. That was a really cool line too.
Yeah.
And also the extra scene, I fucking loved it. Because there is an extra scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fucking loved
What
it.
happened? What happened in the extra scene again?
That was a Mary Shelley thing, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I have to look it up. All I wrote is love the extra
No,
scene.
when they come back to life, they grab each other's hands.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Zooming over them slowly,
Uh-huh.
showing all the wreckage, and then they grab the hands.
I'm at the end of my goods. I have one little tiny little good that it barely counts, but it was such a little small thing that I really appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So the bride, during their natural born killers phase, when they're running across the country, Bonnie and Clyde style, and they're ultra famous, and everybody is seeing pictures of the bride, and she becomes kind of a fashion trend, and you see women in fashionable places wearing the little black ink mark on the side of her face.
Yeah.
All that
And
stuff.
committing acts of violence against men.
And committing acts of violence against men, very Joker-esque, that the mobs of women are rising up against the patriarchy and stuff. And at one point, so like sometime later, they reconnect with the original doctor, and the doctor has this assistant. Her name was Greta, I think. And Greta did not like what the doctor was doing with bringing all these things back from the dead, and you could tell she did not approve of what was going on. And then, of course, sometime later, after the bride is famous and all this shit's going down, you see, the bride comes in to talk to the doctor, and you see Greta in the background, and she's got the face paint on, and she's one of the bridelings or whatever you want to call them. And it was like, oh, so she turned into a fangirl. Like, it started with, I don't know if I approve of this, and now it's like, I'm one of them. I'm one of the brides.
Or the doctor killed her and brought her back.
No, but it was so intentional. It was like exactly on that side. You know what I'm saying? It's possible, but I like the version of Greta that like eventually was like, okay, fine, I like it.
Sure.
Not only do I like it, I really
I'm into
like
this.
it. And and that's the end of my goods.
I'm at the end of my goods.
All right, so it sounds like it's time to talk about our scene spotlight. Kelly, why don't you go ahead and roll it?
Rolling now.
Basically, throughout the movie, we have these little interruptions from the character of Mary Shelley. And the way she speaks and the rhythm of her speaking is like poetry slam stuff, and it's so fucking good. I didn't write down any of the lines, but like she's speaking and then she's like possessing Ida and speaking through her in the same manner, and every time that happens, it was so captivating, and I loved every second of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it felt like there was like one big scene where Mary Shelley is like in the afterlife, and she's sitting in a faded dark room with a black dress and smoking makeup on, smoking a cigarette, telling her story while she's in the afterlife or something. And they cut this scene, this probably 10-minute scene, into these little 1 or 2 minute segments, and they spice them through the story. So she's telling you the story or what she was thinking or how she would have responded differently or something. She's basically responding to what you're seeing on the scene. And every time the audience was able to go back to that Mary Shelley, I would drop what I was doing and just stare at the screen, because Keith was 100% spot on that her language was eloquent. It was efficient, but it was just wonderful. Her vocabulary was extensive, and the way that she would insult people or the way that she would compliment them was beautiful.
And it's like stream of consciousness poetry sounding almost.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Instead of saying, "You made a loud noise, sir," she would just say, "Brash, loud, crashing, smashing."
Yeah.
She would just say words that would come to mind at the loud noise, and it was it was such a beautiful way of speaking. I want to see more of Mary Shelley. I want to see more specifically of this actor playing Mary Shelley.
Dude,
and
I
I'm
would
sure we probably
literally
will never see it again.
I would watch a one-woman show of her on a
Yes.
stool
Yep.
in a spotlight, just doing that for like
2-act,
45 minutes.
1.5
Yeah,
hour
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Absolutely.
I would watch the whole thing because I'm positive that this woman embodying this character would make that interesting. Give her a decent script, or even just give her a halfway decent outline. And I'm sure I get the impression. I mean, who knows how much the script work or what the actors like and stuff like that. But I'm very impressed.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly agree. Best part, my favorite thing about the movie probably was that actress interpreting those words and or interpreting those words and just phenomenal display of.
And it was so unique. It's also like just such a unique take and way to present the information and that side of the story.
I so want this to be what Mary Shelley was kind of like. You know, I'm gaining a crush on a woman that's been dead for 100 years.
Well, there's certain ways you can look at that, and maybe you should talk to your therapist.
Right?
Bold of you to assume that somebody in my state of mind has a therapist.
All right, so it sounds like we're out of the scene spotlight and we're out of the good, so that means it's time to talk about the bad. I only have one bad,
Me
so
too.
I will get it out of the way. And
I have 5.
And my bad is that I found myself relating to Frank, and I was just like, oh man, I am lonely and sad. Like,
oh, buddy.
And so,
buddy.
like, you know, recent events have alleviated that a little bit for me, but still, just like while watching this, I was like, man, I know these feelings, and like, fuck, like I get it, Frank. I'm rooting for you, Frank.
That's just empathy, man. Like, it's you know, like we've all been there, even if we're not there right now. It's kind of like watching past lives again. Like, even if I'm not currently feeling what those characters were feeling, oh God, I remember that feeling. And there was some really good parts about it and some really bad parts about it. Well, this is one of those where it's like, oh, I remember that feeling. That all sucked.
Yep.
I get it.
Well, my one bad. Now I feel really bad saying it, Keith.
Okay.
Frank's a creeper in this movie.
Yeah, well, no, he is. That's why that's why this is in my bad that I'm relating to Frank so much. Yeah,
Like,
trust me, I get it.
Standing up, he's like crawling in her window at night while she's asleep and watching her sleep, and this is creepy.
Hey, you know what? He's just a lonely guy. Who amongst us? Am I right? You know,
She tells him to leave her alone, and he's like following her, and like. Frank's a creeper.
And you can't bring up Frank being a creep without bringing up the fact that when she does come to, she doesn't have any memories.
Right.
And Frank lies to her and tells her that she was his wife.
Yep.
And then starts like trying to presume things about her and like, well, if you're my wife, then means we used to lie together every night. And I used to call you Penny and this is not a one-time lie. It almost felt sitcom-y where this is a lie that kept going and going and going to now it's to the point where it's abusive.
Right.
You're gaslighting this person and trying to get them to fall in love with you under false pretenses, and it's just a matter of time until that.
Right.
I was not rooting. I wanted to root for Frank throughout the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Like overall, you can tell he's got a kind heart. He just makes some really bad choices at a few points.
Sure.
Like, oh man, I don't know. It's up to her if she wants to forgive you. But
he was
that's
raised
bad.
by a dad who made some really bad choices about him. So
Yeah. You know, I mean, but at what point
Right?
do we excuse behavior because, well, he comes from a bad family? Because there are a lot of really shitty
100%.
people, even in positions of power, that came from bad families. And
100%, 100%.
But I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah. One of my bads, and it brought up a couple different times. One of the first things I wrote was the bride's hair. I know you both liked the look of her.
Yeah.
But at first I was just like, I didn't know why they didn't comb it. And I was like, just comb it. And then later on in the movie, when they're trying to hide from the police and she never even attempts to like put it in a hat or anything like that, like her hair is like the number one reason why they keep getting caught over and over again is because she's got this big poof of hair and all it would take is a little bit of water and a comb. and just comb it down a little bit. Like, you can still be wild. You can still
just
have it
comb
kinda
your hair,
frizzy and
honey.
stuff, but yeah, just come on. Well, if you're running from the cops and you've got stark white hair that's poofy on the right side of your head but not the left, anyways, maybe I'm nitpicking. I don't know, but it felt like the movie wanted me to take it seriously at times, and it was hard at points for me to.
There's a
like,
trade-off between realism and character design that you have to just settle in for, I think.
I didn't, maybe I just didn't like the hair the way it was, because every time I saw it, I just wanted, like, if I was sitting with her, I would have been trying to pat her hair down. Like, here, let me help.
Wow, that's presumptuous of you.
I know. Oh, I mean, if I was Frank, let's say, and I was her husband.
There you go.
Well, even like when they went into the dance club, it's not a huge negative for me, but it did end up in my bads that when at one point they're going to a speakeasy under a bridge, which is kind of like they're in the sewers-ish, and the dance club they go to is pretty much like a techno dance club with lighting and smoke effects and some pumping, house music going on in the back. It reminded me of the techno scene in Vanilla Sky. Again, twice this movie came up this episode. But it reminded me of just the bumping drum beats, because there's a long period where we're not hearing any dialogue, where it's just seeing characters dancing with each other to the lights and the music and everything. And I was like, this is 1930s. They kept bringing up, this is 1930s. This is the 1930s. This is the 1930s. Well, they got some great techno bars in Chicago in the 1930s.
Well, I have to push back on that a little bit, because we also recently watched Sinners and loved that there was, like, hip hop happening in the club.
That's
and
very different.
Well,
the whole scene was about the magic of music transcending time, and the characters in the scene did not respond as if they saw Run DMC in the room with them.
But
that was just for us, the audience.
I think this was supposed to be like vibe representative. I don't think it was supposed to be an actual electronic duo performing. I think it was like, this is the vibe and the mood, this is representative.
Yeah, I get you, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it ends up in my bad because it was another one of those eye roll moments, much like the Michael Jackson's Moonwalker dance scene that also ended in my bad. Like, there's no way I can bring it up without acknowledging the fact that in the world you have constructed, that you have spent millions of dollars to make it look as realistic and gritty as possible, you now have a Moonwalker dance scene in your movie. Okay, cool. Just as long as we're on the same page. Like, Moulin Rouge didn't try to look this gritty. It didn't try to be this real. It didn't have gore on the screen. It didn't have multiple instances of rape, which is another one of my bads, is that we have a hokey movie that's like Natural Born Killers, but with lots of rape. There are several moments of sexual violence going on in this movie, and the movie it didn't feel to me like it really fought against it enough, or even like, I don't even see why it was even fucking added. Like, I think we could have told the same fucking story without all the sexual assault. Because the only thing that goes through my mind, every time a movie has sexual assault like this, I remember a friend of mine saying, if I know it's got rape in it, I don't fucking watch the movie, because it has a chance of triggering me, and it's not worth me watching a movie and maybe having a panic attack in a crowded room with 50 other people. I don't need to risk that, so I'm not going to watch it. And then I look at this movie and I go, okay, did you need to alienate X% of your audience and maybe give them a panic attack? Was that essential for this movie? No, it didn't feel like it. It feels like everything that could have happened could have been implied without it getting to the point of, oh, so he's going to rape her now. It didn't need to go there. I don't. So
see, I would say the opposite. And I get where your friend is coming from. I definitely do. But there are multiple ways that people deal with trauma like that. And sometimes, first of all, I think the entire theme of this entire movie was how inescapable sexual violence is for women, especially once they've been victimized once. It tends to be a reoccurring theme in their lives, and how no matter what you do, it's waiting around the corner for you, and how are you going to escape it, and what are you going to react to it, and do you let it turn you into the monster that is attacking you, or do you keep your humanity? I think that that's pretty much the whole basis of the movie. And so in that case, I think that yes, you do need to see it, and you need to see how she reacts, and you need to see how she overcomes it, and you need to see that these other women are now taking her on as a way to empower themselves to overcome sexual violence as well. So I totally get where your friend is coming from. I've been there, and I've seen that.
So from what you're saying, the sexual violence is the core theme of this movie.
Yes. 100%. I
Okay.
firmly believe and feel that is the core theme of this movie.
Yeah, I have a foot in both camps here because yes, it's so unpleasant of a thing that it can completely ruin a movie viewing experience. But it's also, for this movie, it does feel like the point is like holding your eyes open and be like, look at this. This is the thing that happens. This is something that you aren't supposed to turn away from. Be aware of this.
And we very much as a society turn away from it.
Yeah.
We have this horrible idea of like, oh, well, we don't want to ruin the guy's, the person's.
So is the movie trying to tell us how to respond to it?
I think the movie is trying to show how to empower yourself through it. Yes. I think, look, you and I have been through this before.
So how does the movie say, is it just that one sentence? I would prefer not to.
I think that's part of it, yes. But I also think that there comes a time where you have to treat violence with violence. And you and I have been through this before. We do not see eye to eye on that.
What do you mean?
She gets to a point where she does respond only with violence.
Yeah, and then I got the impression that we are not to see the bride as a moral goal. I thought hers was a tale of woe. It's a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. Absolutely.
Like, I thought it was understood as like, this is the path you shouldn't go down, because this is where it leads. Even she says the whole thing about this is how revenge ends, because that's so like,
right. But the answer,
giving an alternative to that,
the answer to that is the bridlings, as you call them, which is a cool name, who are like, which is violence too. Sure, but it's in response to that sort of thing is what that has inspired. What that
couldn't it be seen as the mob is looking for revenge too? Isn't that kind of the core message?
Yes, so
of what
I kind of felt the mob was taking a more proactive stance than outright revenge.
They were asking for different policy positions with the Molotov cocktails in their hands.
Yeah.
It wasn't about revenge when I burned down my husband's officer. It was totally politically driven.
Well, I was trying to elicit change.
But also, like, she does kind of back down. Like at the end, she decides she doesn't want to live a life of complete violence. But there's something to be said for the saying that if you're not a peaceful person if you are not incapable of violence.
So then, if I'm understanding correctly, this was a movie that is zany and wacky.
I didn't find it zany and wacky. I know you did.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Jackson moonwalk scene.
It's called Art Kelly.
How do you explain that without it being zany and wacky?
Because that was Frank's vision of how he was going to get himself out of there.
Yeah, can we replace those two words? Can we replace those two words with one word, and that word is whimsy? Okay.
Sure. A whimsical movie. And like, wait, that moonwalker scene. So you interpret it as that didn't happen? None of that happened?
I interpreted that was Frank's way of looking at what actually happened. Yes.
Then what actually happened?
Well, generally speaking, dancing in movies stands for one of two things: violence or sex.
Or in this movie's case, possibly both.
Mm-hmm. What, Kel?
He killed a bunch of people and then fucked them.
No, I think that.
No, I just that was facetious.
I think that there was probably a very large fight that took place in that, and they escaped.
Okay, that is an interesting. I like that interpretation. I'm not sure if we had the director here, if they would be saying the same thing.
Maybe she would.
I hope that it would be. That gives it much more meaning if that were true. That wasn't the way I interpreted it when I saw it.
To me, like, the whole movie was told in bits and pieces of how the different characters were seeing the event. Because what you saw from the bride's eyes was different from what you saw from Ida's eyes, was different from what you saw from Mary Shelley's eyes, was different from what you saw in Frank's eyes. And there is a point where Mary Shelley's character flat out says, while Ida is experiencing sexual violence, and she's like, are you just going to sit there and take it again, or are you going to stand up for yourself and fucking fight?
Well, like I said, it's I'm glad that we have that. That's the whole point of art, and I've said this a bunch of times on the podcast. Is one of the best things about art is that two people can look at the same painting and come away with two completely different interpretations, and both can be equally valid. I like your interpretation. I dig your interpretation, and that I can see where if you're looking at it through that lens, that the movie becomes much deeper, yada, yada, yada. That wasn't my vibe when I first watched it. I got a different interpretation.
Totally get
and in mine, the rape just felt like it felt more like sexual gratuity that we see oftentimes in movies. So maybe I am properly perceiving a trend, or maybe my past experience is making me a little bit more cynical towards film.
And like I said, your friend has a very valid,
it's hard to
very valid take on things too. I just think that as somebody who has experienced sexual violence throughout my life, multiple times.
Absolutely, and there's no denying that as a woman, you have a different perspective on this.
Right.
Watching,
and you have to say
too.
this is written and directed by a woman, so that is this this is a woman's voice on this subject.
Yeah. It's not unbelievable that what you're saying was all intentional as you're saying it. Sure, I'm not denying that one.
And what I was trying to say though is that I think that we have a lot of art out there and movies and think pieces where they shy away from the violence. Where they shy away from the violence on both sides. Because it is triggering. And I get that it can be triggering. And there are people, I have a friend who was dying to watch this movie, and I literally said, it is a very hard watch. You need to make sure that you are in a good place mentally before you watch this movie. Because I do feel that. But I think that it's important to show the other sides of this that we don't get to see a lot, because it does trigger people, because it does produce a negative reaction. I think it's important that we get to see that, because there are those of us that need to see that to heal too.
This is a good discussion, y'all.
Is that anybody else got any bads?
I don't. Do you?
Nope.
All right. Well, that means it's time to talk about the ugly. My ugly. I have one ugly, and it's one word. Can anybody guess?
No.
No?
No.
Just men.
Oh.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
like, men are horrible, and this movie like depicts that, and so like it's just it's and you see it all over it's almost the same discussion. It's all over in real life. It's all over this movie.
But
and it's just.
Can I just throw something out there for you, Keith?
Yeah, what you got?
The doctor was a woman in this, and she was awful too. She
That's true.
Ignored people's consent and moved against consent just as much as any man did.
Was there anybody that was
like a good
commendable?
person?
Was there anybody that was just a nice
think
person?
Ida would
Penelope
have been.
Cruz.
Yeah, Penelope Cruz, and I think
Penelope
Ida
was the
would have been. I think that Ida was turned into.
I can hear the angel sound effect going on right now. Penelope Cruz.
Yeah, I don't think she did
has
anything
saved us.
offensive in any way, shape, or form.
Because other than that, there's not really anybody that is 100%. I mean, the bride, kind of, but she eventually does bad shit because, and you can see maybe it's justified, but
what Jamie's saying
justified is still murder.
is Ida and the bride are not the same character technically.
Right.
So maybe Ida.
Oh yeah, Ida didn't deserve anything.
Right.
What happened to her, as far as I can tell.
So, and even after everything I just said in the bad, I will admit that the ugly in this movie is the constant sexual violence. It's ugly. It's necessary because it's what life is. Especially as a woman, you're faced with it 9 times out of 10. Like I work in a bank. We've discussed this. I have a coworker who is a very beautiful 25-year-old woman who has to go hide in the back when we have clients that come in sometimes, because if my boss is around, they won't act like that. But when my boss is not around, they will literally stand at her office door, which is glass, and stare into it and all but lick the glass. And that is in her daily life as just, so this is something that happens. And so, yes, it's ugly, but it's reality. And they're not young. They're old. They're disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to...
But that's my only ugly.
It's not really my place to say anything other than I'm sorry. You know, like... It's the whole thing of like, not all men, but always a man, pretty much. It's like, if you look at the stats of sexual violence, domestic violence, even homicide, mass shootings, look at the demographics and you tell me if you're the kind of person where, I really care about stats and facts don't care about feelings. Okay, well, why is like 97% of the domestic violence done by men. And we can talk about reporting stats and stuff like that too, but come on, man. Come on. You got to admit that in the world we live in today, women, they are the target of a lot of psychological, physical, sexual, financial, legal,
emotional
abuse.
Yeah.
All, and it's just at every turn. I've often, like, I can't imagine what it's like being like a teenage girl growing up in the world and just knowing that everywhere you turn, you have to acknowledge that there's a predator lying almost everywhere in some way, shape, or form. Somebody's either trying to take advantage of you financially or physically or emotionally or something.
I think this movie also did a great job of showing that it's not even just the men. There were women who helped the men. There were women who, committed acts of violence themselves. Like I said, the doctor is a woman who is constantly violating consent. Constantly. Like her work in and of itself is a violation of consent.
Even the quote unquote good guy police officer guy, right? It turns out that he was sleeping with his informants,
right.
And it's just like fuck. There's not a good person here to like hang your head on.
And the sociologist in me would point out that, like, oftentimes maybe it's more of a critical feminist view, but like it's there basically you have these power structures and they exist to give power to the people at the top of these structures, and all this stuff exists for that sole purpose. And then what you have is at different nodes along the way, you have people that are willing to sell out the people that are on a lower rung just so that they can be on the higher rung than the other people. And it's like, for example, if you would look at people that police women's appearance, and there have been tons of studies done about this, and you look at who tells women what they should and shouldn't wear, who are the ones making complaints, who are the ones making positive or negative statements about it. And it's a vast majority of women. Yep. Women are the number one marker. And if we really break down the demographics further, and I don't mean to make this about race, but white women are the number one demographic that are calling out other people's appearance. And it's like, so you could say, well, see, that's a problem with women. No, they are acting on behalf of the patriarchy. They have been raised within the patriarchy, so they are doing what they are told they're supposed to do. Is no, you're not supposed to stand up and be different. You're supposed to dress like blank. You're supposed to act like blank. And that's why you see that woman scientist, she's still in a point of going, well, I can still take advantage of somebody that's lower than me, like a woman that's at worse luck than me. I can take advantage of that. Yeah, why wouldn't I? Men would take advantage of me. Why can't I take advantage of her? That's how the system works. It's all justified, see? Don't hate the play, I hate the game.
Oh, God. Edit that out.
Hell no.
I don't want to hear that when I listen to this.
Speaking of which, my last ugly, I have two uglies. My serious ugly is tonal shifts. This movie is real big on these weird tonal shifts that it didn't feel, I don't know. Sometimes it didn't vibe with me the way that I think the director and editor wanted it to vibe with me. And it felt jarring, and it felt, not jarring in a, ooh, well, I'm supposed to be disoriented way. It felt jarring in a way of like, why did you do, oh, okay, sure. Okay, sure. We're gonna, like the dance, I keep bringing that up. It ends up in all three of my categories somehow. But the Michael Jackson dance scene, it's like that tonal shift is just like, what the fuck are we doing? That came out of, and I don't know. I would have much preferred the movie just stayed in that really wacky, absurd area than have these
whimsical.
Weird, it didn't.
Whimsical.
Yeah, it went from whimsical to gritty sexual assault commentary in a way that it broke my brain a little bit. Like maybe that's just a shortcoming on my part, but I just couldn't get around it. And I kept feeling like, is this lamp shading? Is it not? Is this appropriate? If a woman is sitting across the table from me telling me that she felt very comfortable, well, not comfortable, but she felt like seen with what was shown on the screen, then that's okay. That it's not my call to make, but the tone shift still, I gotta admit that they fucking broke my brain a little bit in a way that wasn't. It didn't feel like good storytelling at the time. It felt like the opposite.
I understand. I do understand where that would come from. It definitely is disjointed. There's a very disjointed fashion to the way that this story is told.
And my last ugly, and this has to be in the ugly, is at one point the bride is going down on Frank. And I just thought, oh my God, imagine that smell.
There's like a stitching up the side.
Yeah, and I don't know if motherfucker bathes regularly. He doesn't look like he
You think
does.
he's saying it was
He's been
ribbed
wearing the
for
same
her
clothes
pleasure?
for a couple years.
Yeah, the staples. They really.
Yeah, the staples on up the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And she looks at it and goes, "Oh, did you have something sewn on here?" And he grins and goes, "No." I had that added after.
Yeah, that's just for me.
Hurt like a motherfucker. That's the end of my uglies.
Oh, okay. I think we're all out of ugly.
Yeah.
Oh, so that means that we have talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we've given you our thoughts about The Bride. And now is the time where we ask ourselves a bunch of questions, which there are really 3+1 questions, which most people call 4 questions, but I prefer to call it 3+1 questions. The first question of the 3 questions of which is, if this movie were completely replaced by the cast of Muppets, except for one human, who would the human be?
I mean, it's The Bride.
I agree.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You can't do it without that. Like, that's the whole main best
I
part
would
of
watch
but-
that movie in a heartbeat. Piggy is the scientist?
Yeah.
Yes, Piggy is the scientist?
I could also see Piggy taking over the place of Mary Shelley in The Bride.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like speaking to
Yeah.
her. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Oh, God, but we lose that actor in the Mary Shelley, but still, I would love to see like an alternate version that has Miss Piggy just doing the Mary
Right.
Shelley scenes. That would be having that long, the French cigarette with the long
So,
handle on it or whatever you call it.
Sam the Eagle as Frank.
Yep.
Kermit is the police officer guy.
Absolutely. Of course. Yes.
Who's going after him?
Mhm.
Maybe
Janice as the scientist. Like
Gonzo
oh,
can be Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's always dancing with chickens.
Yep.
So,
Janice can be Greta, the assistant.
yeah, there you go.
Wow, man, I don't know if I'm okay
She
with
sees the
this.
bodies going in. Yeah, I don't think that's pretty cool, man. I don't think those bodies were dead.
Pretty good.
And we just see her later with the mirror.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the second question of the 3 questions is, what is the promotional popcorn bucket for this movie?
I can see a top hat.
Part of me wants to say the car, like the the whole Bonnie and Clyde thing with the bullet holes in it. But that seems like it would be kind of hard.
You do the car with the nachos and cheese. So you just
Yeah,
have the
okay.
compartments. So
There you go.
3/4 of it are the chips, and the 1/4 is the cheese. But then you also, what was your idea, Jamie?
I said a top hat.
Yeah, that's the top half for the popcorn, and then you
Okay.
have both of them.
Well, look,
I think that totally works.
It's the top hat, but underneath it is just enough of the top of Frankenstein's head where you can tell that it's because it's got the staples or whatever, the stitching.
Which head are we talking about?
Again, dirty.
It's, or it's the top hat, but you have to be Frank. You have to embody Frank a little bit, so it has the little hole in the bottom of the popcorn bucket, so you can be.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
No.
All right, the final question is, what is your most valuable part? It could be a person, it could be an actor, it could be a piece of the scenery, it could be something esoteric like the color red in a scene. What is your MVP? Jamie.
I feel like this is going to be very unanimous here, but Jessie Buckley.
I I gotta give it to her. She was
100%.
fucking awesome, dude.
She was 60% of what I enjoyed at this movie was just watching her exist in front of the screen.
Yep.
It was.
I loved
I feel like
every
I could watch
character
her
she
just
played.
smoke a cigarette without saying a word.
Every moment of her on screen is just captivating. Yes.
Yep, she's magnetic, and I'm not even. You'll notice, dear listener, that I'm not saying this in a way of going, "Oh, she's so adorable. I have a crush on her." No, she's obviously beautiful too, but I'm just I'm in awe.
Fucking
of
tour de
her
force,
talent.
powerful performance.
And honestly, I would say in this movie,
Yeah.
they went out of the way to make her not attractive.
Well, attracted to a certain audience.
Yeah.
The goths, fucking
Yeah,
love
like,
her, I'm
but
sure.
she's not
Yeah.
traditionally, like, she's not soft, she's not feminine, really. She's just...
Yeah, even if this movie doesn't take off, I hope that next year for Halloween we see some women dressed.
Dude, I want to dress as
Bride.
the bride so bad for Halloween. You don't even know.
What you want to dress as? Who?
The bride.
The who?
The bride.
The Bride.
Sorry, you can't say. It's got the exclamation mark on.
Or I'm sorry, the motherfucking bride.
That's acceptable as well. The original title is acceptable. All right, so we get a unanimous on the MVP. It doesn't happen very often. And those questions are wonderful, but they don't really matter. Because the only question that really matters is that when it comes to The Bride, did you enjoy it? And would you give it a thumbs up?
You really want to do this? Here. Now? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's do it!
I did, and I would. There's like several people that I would like to show this to, and I think that as long as you heed the trigger warning of sexual violence, watch this movie. It was very, very cool and fresh and interesting, and has some of the greatest performances I've seen this year, particularly the one of The Bride. So yes, wholehearted thumbs up. What about you, Jamie?
I fucking love this movie. Again, like I said, I had a friend that wanted to see it, and I said, you need to make sure... Sorry, Hella's having a sneezing fit. You need to make sure that you are in a good place mentally when you watch it, because it is a difficult watch as a woman, but I loved how it portrayed reacting and living in that. So, yes, thumbs up for me. Hell?
All right, so I wrote this sentence after I watched the movie the first time, and I found that it's just as true now. And the sentence is, this movie is a bad restaurant. It's a bad restaurant that has a great fucking sandwich on the menu. It is one item. You go into this restaurant, you order this item, you order it this way, and it will be one of the best fucking sandwiches you have ever had in your life. So, would I recommend the restaurant? Yeah. But I would tell everybody before you go to the restaurant, watch it for
The sandwich.
Jesse Buckley. Yeah, go there for the Jesse Buckley sandwich, because that is what this show was really all about. Other than that, I have issues with some other parts, and we've discussed it at length. So, and I appreciate the other view. And maybe if I went back and watched it again, I could have a different understanding looking at it through this other perspective. And thank you for giving me that. But overall, yeah, even if you didn't enjoy it as much as Jamie and maybe as much as Keith did, even if nothing else, just to see Jesse Buckley show a masterclass in wonderful scenery chewing action. Fucking acting, wonderful, great job.
Yep.
So that's a unanimous for us. Perfect score from the Screen Share and Chill.
Perfect.
So that means that we are done with romance.
It does, doesn't it?
I am.
Okay,
I am thrilled with how the romance turned out for the most part.
I am too. Unexpected. All three of us had good picks in different ways that it might not have landed as 100%,
Right.
but all three very unexpected.
Well, and they were all so different too. Like they were all romance, but they were all very different aspects of that.
The episode 1 was all about looking at past loves. Episode 2 was all about looking at your first love. Episode 3 was all about looking at crazy love.
Yep. And or self-love.
Yeah, true.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Spin that wheel.
All right, horror.
Jesus Christ, another a horror. Keith, you're
Love
a
it.
horror.
I'm a horror, and let's see what vintage of horror I am.
Why didn't you just pick documentary again?
No. We need
2020s again.
Look.
Christ.
Since we just did 2020s, we can fudge it
Okay.
and we'll spin this one again.
No, I say we stick with the
I
wheel.
feel like
The
we
wheel
have to
said
take 2020s. Why didn't 2020s come off the wheel?
Well, because then you'd get in the thing where you could only get potentially one. So we're not taking the.
All
the
right.
years
Okay, so
off
then
the
what
wheel.
about if you get the same roll twice?
Yeah,
So we got
Right.
2020s last time. If we got romance again, I would have said
Yeah.
re-roll.
you're right. Yeah, exactly.
So we got horror, re-roll the 2020s, so it's not the
Yeah.
same.
All right.
Then it's still within the rules, so we're not cheating.
All right. That's a little better.
Nice.
90s horror?
Mm,
Oh, perfection.
I can work with
don't
this.
worry, I knew a lot of horrors in the 90s.
Why do you do this?
Prepare yourselves for the Blair Witch
Sorry,
Project.
I'm so sorry. I've never seen the Blair Witch Project.
Well, there you go.
It's a possibility.
90s horror. Okay. I have so many choices from this that
Me too.
I'm excited.
Same order. I'm going
Yep.
first, huh?
You have a
I
week.
gotta figure it out soon. So yeah, 90s horror. I'll figure something out, and hopefully it's something good. We'll
So many
see.
good options.
But for now, I really enjoyed watching this with you all. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, both of you, for joining me for this conversation. I had a great time.
Thank you
Good
for
input.
listening to my input and my completely different take.
I enjoyed the discussion on this one with you guys. I thought
Absolutely.
it was a very good discussion brought out by this.
I'm glad to have had it because it allowed me to expand my my perspective on it, and it took something that was and it brought it into good. I even came into this thinking, I hope that they one way or another this conversation is probably going to bend me. If you both agree with me on the negatives, I might have gone into a negative. So I'm glad that we had it. So, but for Screen Share and Chill, I'm Kelly.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Jamie, and I prefer not to.
Don't put the shrimp in your pockets.
Don't put the shrimp in your pockets. If somebody says, here, put this shrimp in your pocket, you say, I'd prefer not to.
I'm going to call the police. You go ahead, call them. Call anybody you want. They can't do anything to me. Not anymore. And nor can any of you. You go ahead, call them. Call anybody you want.
Balls to the wind and just fucking ride it.